Last time on Shadow Piece, a lot of things happened. The Thriller Bar crew split up into three different smaller groups. Sanji and Absalom went to train for the tournament. Maria got accustomed to the locals and talked about their problems with them. And finally, Brook and Perona went up a mountain to take in the entire atmosphere of the island. However, what they didn't notice was that there was somebody staring at them from inside of the hut, standing in the middle of the center of this mountain. 1 week has passed since the Strawhat Pirates and Sanji arrived in Elbaf. The tension of visitors being there disappeared really quickly, and now the natives greet them like they would every other person. Maria is the one that relaxed the most in this time, and he kept on updating his knowledge about the most recent deaths. His Devilfoot powers are enough for that, but the news coup adds a few more pictures to it. To be precise, there are 3 articles that Maria finds especially interesting. Some go even so far as to infuriate him. However, he can't just leave his crew behind to go after that one especially. The first important article states this: hereby, every member of the SSG, the Special Science Group, is confirmed to be a criminal. Using the fundings of the world government, they have developed weapons capable of threatening the world. In a raid on their base on Egghead Island, many of the traitors have either been killed or captured. The ringleader of this operation and the person who manipulated everybody else is the man we thought we could entrust the future to. Dr. Vegapunk is a heinous and dangerous criminal. Be careful and keep an eye out for this man. Attached to the article are a couple of bounty posters, because now Vegapunk and his assistants are wanted criminals. First, Punk 03, Addison, 1.3 billion berries. Then we have Punk 02, Lilith, 2.2 billion berries. And finally, Punk 01, Shaka, 3.1 billion berries. And last but not least, their leader, the worst of them all, Stella Vegapunk, 4.6 billion berries. These bounties are comparable to Emperor's, but that just shows how much the world government fears whatever Vegapunk has been doing. Now Maria also knows who some of the names were that he saw in his Book of Death some time ago on Wano. The people called Vegapunk's closest allies, the 6 punks, and 3 of them got killed during the attack on Egghead Island. Punk 04, Pythagoras, Punk 05, Atlas, and finally Punk 06, York. If Maria ever encounters these people, they would be formidable allies. However, it seems unlikely that Vegapunk would join up with the Strawhat Pirates. They probably have other options to pick from that they would much more prefer. While it is interesting to see that even the world's greatest scientist is now an enemy of the government, the other 2 articles in the newspaper are more important to Maria. The second article talks about the encounter between the Blackbeard Pirates and the Hard Pirates on Wiener Island, and the Blackbeard Pirates and the Big Mom Pirates on Whole Cake Island. Both of these encounters apparently ended in favor of the Blackbeard Pirates, which makes Maria think about the well-being of Law. His crew doesn't really matter to the Shadow Emperor, but he has an undeniable bond with the Surgeon of Death. And now this cheater with 2 devil fruits apparently captured him? Depending on how this situation will develop, the Strawhat Pirates will venture out to Hachinosu Island. A storm is beginning to rise. For Sanji's own sake, Maria also made sure that the blonde duo didn't receive any of the newspapers. It would only mess with his concentration and determination if he saw that something happened on Whole Cake Island. After the Elbaf tournament is over, there will be still enough time to take care of this. Moria wants to have some fun before getting back into his serious mode, and the Shadow Emperor also has some trust in Law and the Big Mom Pirates. And finally, the third article. This one talks about the Fleet of Death. The world still thinks Maria is dead, and so do the members of his, well, or rather now, Absalom's fleet. All of the members got more serious after the news got out, and are starting to make themselves known around the world. There are bounty increases all around the board. The allies that are connected to kingdoms, like the Riku family or Elisabello and the Prudence Kingdom, those people remain quiet. However, that still makes the number of new bounties a whopping 15. So let's go through all of them. The first and biggest part of the article is the man who always seeks attention. Now known with the epithet of the Sin of Lust, Cavendish. With a bounty of 750 million berries, his new bounty poster looks as beautiful as ever. Even as a pirate, he has many fangirls. Also from his crew is the man known as Suleiman the Beheader, with a new bounty of 267 million berries. He is technically the second in command of Cavendish's pirate crew, but on direct orders of his captain, he is not allowed to stand out a lot, because the attention should be all his. Next we have the Sin of Wrath, Don Sai. After officially taking over the Hapo Navy, he has become a big threat to the world government. His new bounty is 542 million berries, the same amount his grandfather had during his active times. His young brother Boo is always there for him, and now he also has a bounty of 342 million berries. As a younger sibling, he isn't deemed as dangerous, but he still has to be brandmarked with a bounty. And finally, the last member of a bounty from the Hapo Navy, Don Sai's better half and his new wife, the flower of the Hapo Navy, Baby 5, worth 271 million berries. Leaving the Hapo Navy behind, we go over to a different pirate crew. The next captain is the Sin of Envy, the destruction cannon Idio. 320 million bellies is what his bounty amounts to. This captain has united different tribes and has become a leader for the long arm, long leg, and long neck people. Every day the amount of people following him increases even more. His right-hand man and a key player to get the long leg tribe on their side is known as Shooting Star Blue Gilly. This man is directly after his captain. Even though Idio is essentially the captain, those two work in a direct partnership and don't have much of a difference in standing. After his captain, he has a 300 million belly bounty. Their crew doesn't only consist of long arm, long leg, and long neck people, but they also have some ordinary humans. Two of them are known as a former bounty hunting duo named the Sandstorm Brothers. Abdullah and Jeet have now a combined bounty of 250 million bellies, but there's not a lot to say about them besides that. On to the next crew. We are currently together with these people, but this is the first time Maria has seen their new bounties. The new giant warrior pirates have been deemed to be one of the strongest parts of the Fleet of Death, both because of them being giants and because of the things they have done since the Dressrosa War. First is the captain and leader, the Sin of Pride, Hyrodine, 810 million berries. A giant possessing incredible power and durability, being able to take down multiple marine platoons by himself. This has also earned him the nickname of One-Man Army. However, he's never alone. By his side you can always find the cruise navigator Rhodes, worth 630 million berries, the cruise cook Goldberg, also worth 630 million berries, the cruise doctor and only female giant. On the request of a certain celestial dragon, she is also only alive for 750 million berries. Her name is Gerd. And last, but most certainly not least, the cruise shipwright, Stanson, worth 550 million berries. While Cavendish takes the biggest part of the article, altogether the new giant warrior pirates take the second biggest part. Most people would think that's the end of the article about the Fleet of Death, but written way smaller, so small that Maria had to bring out his reading classes, taking up the least amount of area, are the news about the Yonta Maria Grand Fleet. Every other member of the Fleet of Death had at least a couple of sentences describing them and the horrible deeds they have done in the recent times, but this group has not one word dedicated to them. Both members of the Yonta Maria fleet that receive bounties are wanted only death and have the biggest bounty after only their leader, the Dark Prophet himself. The vice leader, Columbus, a young looking girl already worth 1.2 billion berries, and the leader, the Sin of Greed, Orlumbus, worth 1.7 billion berries. Moria isn't sure what they did to receive such incredible bounties, and the newspaper isn't telling him anything either. All he knows about Orlumbus is that he's a man very committed to his schedule and a dedicated scholar that enjoys studying a lot. No matter what really is happening here, Columbus and Orlumbus have become one of the biggest targets from the Fleet of Death, and yet the space they received in the papers is almost non-existing. Altogether, the Fleet of Death is now worth 13,096,484,043 berries. In comparison, the Strawhat fleet is worth at least 10,380,001,000 berries. While on the Fleet of Death side, Moria is not in the total because he was deemed dead. On the Strawhat fleet side, there are a lot of unconfirmed or outdated bounties, so it's not really clear right now which fleet is more valuable. Now that everything from the newspaper has been said, another morning has come to the island of Elbaf. Moria, together with Brook and Perona, walk to the battle arena. The day has come. Today the Battle Royale stage of the tournament is going to happen, and only the last 8 get to enter the main tournament. On day 2, the quarter and semi-final will take place. Then, on day 3, the final fight will happen. And once it is over, a big banquet is going to take place to end the Winter Solstice Festival. Most giants that want to participate have already arrived at the battle stage, Pyridine included, but Sanji and Absalom are still nowhere to be seen. The civilians and older warriors present to spectate the spectacle are already talking about how the human probably chickened out. But suddenly, just as if they waited for this moment, the blonde duo appears in the distance. The foggy morning adds to their dramatic entrance. Sanji's hair and beard have grown a bit longer, but the gentleman tried his hardest to keep up his tidy and good-looking appearance. With a big jump, the charlotte husband ascends to the arena. In between all the giants, he looks like a small bug. But for a bug, he is gushing with confidence, and it almost seems like an aura is radiating from him. To be continued. This is the end of today's episode and the start of our small tournament. How will Sanji perform against the Elbafian giants? Will he be able to win Devil Fruit for Moria? All these things will be answered in the upcoming episodes of Shadow Piece. I hope you enjoyed this episode as well. Maybe leave a comment or some sort of idea of how this tournament is going to turn out. But from me, that's all from today. So all that's left to be said is stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro out. Bye!